الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله صلى على رسول الله. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. All praise be to Allah. We praise Him. We seek His assistance, and we beg for His forgiveness. Whomever Allah guides, there's no person, place, or thing that can lead him astray. And whomever Allah allows to be led astray, there's no person, place, or thing that can guide him to the straight path. I bear witness that there's no God but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alone and without any partners. And I bear witness that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his servant and the seal of all prophets that came before him. Ya ayyuhalladhina, stop for the spoon. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, awfu bil uqud. O ye who believe, fulfill all obligations, contracts, covenants. We praise something that's sublime and most high that we can't see. Yet we see His majesty in the universe, in the constellations, in the world, and within our own selves, and for those who we come into contact with. It is an honor to be able to come and remind you for this week's message. You know, there's a real struggle going on within ourselves, and there's a constant struggle that we're taught on. And the best way out of that struggle is through the example of our beloved prophet, which requires honesty, understanding, effectiveness, compassion, tolerance, and it can be overwhelming sometimes. But yet this same power in which we worship controls everything, the good and the bad. He has created us in perfect balance, which was just a little bit of positivity and a little bit of negativity. And that balance is what would individually get us up out of any circumstance or frustration or bitterness or situation that we find ourselves in. In the Holy Quran, Surah 59, ayah 13, I want to speak about Al-Jabbar, the one who sustains, the one who compels, the one who mends the broken hearts, who mends the frustrated believer of misunderstanding, And Al-Jabbar is mentioned 10 times in the Holy Quran. And 9 of those times speaks about those who compel others, and 1 time in His Majesty. Udu billahi min ash-shaytanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Huwa Allahu alladhi la ilaha illallah, huwa al-malik, al-maliku, al-kudusu, as-salamu alayhi, al-mu'minu, al-muhayminu, al-azizu, al-jabaru, al-mutakabiru, subhanallahi amma yushrikuna, which should be translated as, Allah is He, than whom there is no other God, the sovereign, the Holy One, the source of peace and perfection, the guardian of faith, the preserver of safety, the exalted in might, the irresistible, the supreme. Glory to Allah, high is He above the partners that they attribute to Him. The Al-Jabbar, in the Arabic term, there are several accepted meanings to this name. The most often quoted is the helps believers into situations in which He forces them to grow. But yet, we become haughty, and we don't want to accept the situation, that place that's taken hand. And therefore, at any given moment, we can destroy what is meant to help us grow and to go lower in our depths of misunderstanding and doubt and frustration. He implements His decree without any opposition. There is no one that prevails over Him. The other interpretation is the repairer. He restores all of His creation. In the same situation, He will restore you in the same situation that's forcing you to grow. He heals up the brokenhearted, binds their wounds, and brings comfort to the weak. He compels each and everything to His divine will, but is never Himself compelled. SubhanAllah. Salakallahu. Brothers and sisters, once again, I'm very grateful to come before you today to remind you, and most of the khutbahs I come with are referring to me myself in situations that may have taken place in my life the week before, prior, or just a situation that I've meditated on. And when you look in the society today and the trials and tribulations that are going on, a lot of fear, a lot of doubt, and each situation that I encounter is a situation for me to grow. In most of those situations in which I'm being compelled to grow, I'm failing because of my attitude. I'm failing because of misunderstanding. I'm failing because of opposition through prejudice, misunderstanding, dislike. And there's a constant battle, which our Prophet Muhammad SAW has told us about, jihad al-nafs. The most difficult jihad is the one within. And Allah has already given us, which we foolishly accepted to trust, which is our will. And Allah is not going to interfere with our will. But He's given us the intellect, the understanding, the emotion. He gave us all the complete senses to get us out of any situation that we come into contact with. But yet, are we failing or are we passing? Each day we get up, we're a vendor of our own souls, which our beloved Prophet ﷺ has taught us. It's either we're doing that which will bring in peace, happiness, and success in the eyes of our Rabb, or that which takes us lower. And like I said, a lot of times it's dealing with my attitude, my inability to be in partnership with other people, the inability to be in partnership with whatever the situations that are taking place in my life. And the most important thing about being a believer is understanding my purpose. My purpose is more important than anything. And I have to learn how to put my purpose before my pleasure at all times, because I'm going to feel good at it. I want to feel good about what I think I know. I want to feel good on how I look. I want to feel good about the job title that I hold. I want to feel good about having people beneath me that will listen to things that I think they need to have, and I can drop the ball at any particular moment. And Allah will have me in situations that will have me uneasy. But the uneasiness, the discomfort, the misconception is a gauge to let me know that I'm spiritually out of balance. And there are so many tools that we have as believers to get right back on track, but yet we don't do that because we forget what our purpose is. Our purpose is to serve others. Our purpose is to worship Allah. Our purpose is to patiently, through prayer, wiggle our way through any situation that comes before us. And if I keep running from that situation, I wind up in another situation in a different environment with the same situation until I'm forced to grow. And if I don't grow, I will go on to the bitter end, blotting out the consciousness of my situations and my situations. Not realizing that, you know, I remember when I grew up in the projects, if we saw a fight going on, we'd run to the scene, excited. But when they start shooting, we ducking and dodging. See, I'm always running too, but I never want to go through. I'm always trying to go beneath or around or above what it is that Allah is trying to reveal to me. And a lot of times, the same thing that's making me angry and frustrated is the main thing is meant to help me grow. And Allah is compelling me to the situation to grow, but I'm refusing to grow because of my attitude, you know, because of what I think, what I've been through. And it's obvious to those around me that what I think I know hasn't even been practiced yet. I haven't even been battle tested yet. You know, the first thing I do when I learn something is go try to teach it to somebody else. And I have no knowledge on how to do it because I've never been through the situation literally. You know, so theory is one thing, but the actual practice is another thing. And that's where the struggle begins. That's where the sincerity begins. That's when I have to go against how I'm feeling for the sake of pleasing the Lord that I serve. So if I try to feel my way through this life, I'm not going to be successful. But if I go through this life based on what I've been taught in this Quran and the examples of the Prophet Solomon and Sunnah and Hadith, then I got a hope shot. Then I have the ability to be more tolerant with individuals. Then I have the ability to be more understanding of situations that I have no control over. Because he compels the situation. He sustains me during the situation, and he mends my heart and helps me become more compassionate toward others in the process. And it all is the result of patience and prayer. You know, and once I finish that, prepare myself for the next one because he creates us in stages. But if I never make it out of the first stage, I'm not going to never make it to be able to see how far he can take me. And it's all with an understanding of his will, not my will. It's all for the sake of loving others and doing to others that I want that I've done to myself for the sake of pleasing Allah. Because if it was up to me, I wouldn't even do it. I don't even want to go around with brothers. I ain't got the time. You know, he keep falling off. You know, don't nobody else want to mess with him. I don't want to mess with him either. But our beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when you study his life, why was he so compassionate? Why was he so loving? Why was he so understanding? Because he knew, or should I say he understood the assignment. He understood the mission. And the first time I said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, I thought it was all about just joining the right team. I didn't know I was going to have to go to work till the day I die. I got to go to work. I got to get up every day. And the first person I got to go against is myself. When I opened up the presentation of this Khutbah, I said, we seek refuge from the evil within our own self or the consequences of our evil deeds. So I got to fight the evil within first before I can be effective on being compassionate and tolerant towards others when I go without or go out and about. So if I get up in Miss Farger, I'm already out of balance. I'm going to be Friday arguing before 9 o'clock or speaking down on somebody or gossiping about somebody because it's so easy to just listen to the radio to get on somebody in the field of being important, giving my opinions on Rihanna being pregnant at the Super Bowl. And I mean, as soon as you see something, you can just go to social media and look into the comments and everybody giving their opinion. That's straight backbiting in our religion, and it doesn't seem important, but it's serious to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You understand? It's so easy to fall into a backbiting session or a slandering session if we're not careful, but the Quran tells us about protecting ourselves against these things. And not only is it on social media, you can come within these rooms and fall into a conversation about what a brother doing or what a sister's doing, and you know, and it's so common now that it's hard not to, you know, fall into that. But Allah does not, he does not hold us accountable for that if we are willing to accept it for what it is, identify it, and ask him for forgiveness. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum. Once again, in our conclusion, brothers and sisters, I would like to share a couple of stories with you guys. It's about a brother named Imam, whom the Prophet Muhammad SAW loved. He was an alcoholic, and he was at all the battles, Unda, Badr, Uhud. He was amongst them the entire time, but Prophet Muhammad SAW had a love for him that was unconditional. And he had a love for the Prophet. And the companions would always speak down on him, call him a donkey, la'anaka Allah, damn you. I mean, God, and I say, God damn you. That's what they would say to him, because they knew he drank alcohol. But he was always making it to the masjid. He was always praying. And the Prophet Muhammad SAW would tell them, leave him alone. He loved Allah and his Prophet. And every time he would come into the presence of the beloved Prophet SAW, the Prophet Muhammad would smile continuously, looking at him. And he would always go out and purchase food for the Prophet SAW. And then when the people came to collect the money for the food, he would go take them back to the Prophet SAW to ask the Prophet to pay for the food. And our beloved Prophet SAW would say, well, did you buy it for me? Wasn't it a gift? And he said, no, I just wanted you to have something to eat. And the Prophet Muhammad SAW would smile and pay for the food. And one day, it was a Bedouin Arab that came up, and he tied his camel to the post. And the companions were telling Imam, we're hungry. Won't you take that camel and go slaughter it? So he took the camel and went and slaughtered it. And when the Bedouin Arab came out and started screaming about his camel, he ran to the Prophet. And they say, who done this? And the Prophet Muhammad said, who done this? And everybody said, Imam done it. And so they went to look for him, and he was hiding in someone's home up under some leaves. And Prophet Muhammad said, why did you do this? He said, those who have told you this about me are the ones who told me to do it. And the guy who camel it was refused to pay the Prophet. I mean, except money for the Prophet. He said he wanted Imam to pay him, but he didn't have the funds for it. And last but not least, Imam saw a blind brother praying in the masjid one day. And he professed that he had to use the bathroom. So Imam took the brother to a part of the masjid and told the brother, you can do it here. And once he found out what he had done, he said, who did this? So everybody said, Imam did it. And he said, I will crack him across his skull with my staff when I see him. So when Imam got word of this, Imam saw him praying in the masjid one day and saw another brother praying in the masjid and took the brother to the brother who was praying and said that was Imam. He was pretending to put somebody in his place. So when the brother struck the brother on the head and put a deep cut in his head, they realized that he had took the heat off him and put it on somebody else. So the moral of the story is, here it is a brother that just can't get it right, who loved Allah, who always hung around the masjid, who always came to everything. Yet he just didn't get it right, because there's nothing in the traditions of the story that I've come across yet where he finally got it. And that is a message that I want to get out. A lot of times we run into people, and the only thing we're doing is find something wrong with them, what they're doing right. But it has been suggested that we find 70 things good about our brothers to look at, to overlook his faults. Because no one has come into this religion perfect, because it was given to an imperfect people. We've been given a perfect religion to a group of imperfect people that needs to understand that the process is not going to be perfect, but the intentions in our heart can. The next story is a story about Bishop al-Fadi, which is Bishop the Barefoot. And he was an alcoholic. And he was a brother that always threw parties and things like that. And one day, a scholar was walking by his house, and one of the slave girls came out of his house to like throw the cans away, whatever you want to call it. And the scholar asked him, the female, whose owner is this house? Is he a slave, or is he a free man? And she said, he's a free man. But the scholar knew about the parties that were being thrown at this house. And so she went back into the house. She gave Bishop an account of what took place between her and the scholar. It is said that Bishop quickly jumped to his feet and headed to the door barefooted, but the pious man had already left. So he ran frantically, barefooted, looking for the gentleman. He left in pursuit of the man, and when he finally caught up with him, asked him to repeat his words, and he obliged. Bishop was so taken aback by his words that he fell to the ground and began to cry, saying, "No, I am a slave, I am a slave." From then onwards, he walked without shoes, and people began calling him Bishop al-Hafi, the barefooted one. When asked why he did not wear shoes, he would reply, "My master Allah guided me when I was barefooted, and I will remain in this condition to death." So the moral to that story is that Bishop went on to become a scholar in the religion of Al-Islam. He studied Hadith, and he studied the Sunnahs of the Prophet, and he went on to teach this religion. So the two stories in which I bring to you today is to help you understand that the struggle in which a lot of us think that we are to a level that we don't have to deal with the ignorance of those in our community, that some of us have the ability to overcome if we're sincere. And some of us will never get it. And we have to understand that when we run into people like this in our communities, within our families, within the workplace of our occupations, that tolerance, understanding, effectiveness has to be presented. Not through my faith, but through my actions and through my personality and through my character. And our beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has came to perfect character, and yet we strive to emulate him or do things in which that's a lesson for us. And a lot of times it's done against our own will. And sometimes through our knowledge, we have to do it grudgingly. Sometimes I have to do things that I really don't want to do, but I know it's going to be pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I do that. And when I do that, I find peace. When I do that, I find comfort. And when I do that, the prejudices are removed, the frustrations are removed, the arrogance is removed, the pride is removed. But it's an actual practice. It's not theoretical. I can talk all day long about being a good person, but may not be able to present it through my character in situations and circumstances that I'm faced with. And it's very painful. And I'm speaking from experience. But if it's not applied, you can't be effective. They say the best of those who are in this religion are those who learn the Quran and teaches it. But you can't teach something that you can't transmit. You only can transmit it through experience. So the best of those who are in this religion are those who learn the Quran, apply it to their own lives, and then teach it to others. And each area is a process of struggle, because when you get something and you know you got something important and you can't give it to the person that you see needed, then it's a whole other test going on, which requires compassion, tolerance, patience. And then you can begin to feel how Isa alayhi salam and Musa alayhi salam and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam called out to Allah and asked him to forgive the same people that was trying to tear them down, because they understood that they had something that these people needed, but the people didn't know that they needed. So a lot of times we got to rub elbows with people that we really don't want to be around, because we know it's pleasing to the God that we serve, in order to find peace and understanding on what this true religion is about. And that's where you find happiness. That's where you find control. That's where you find, it's like knowing is half the battle, but applying it is a whole nother world. It's very, very difficult, but if it's understood, it's possible. And all you have to do is be sincere. Imam Wadi Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with him, says, if you are sincere, obstacles can do nothing but help you. And when you're sincere with the process of this deen, quit trying to control the narrative. Just do what's next. Alhamdulillah, stay humble and keep working. And you will watch this thing grow up right before your eyes, and you will see the majesty of the Rabb that we can't see, that we serve. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله
stool. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin.
Amin.
Qul in kuntum tuhibbuna Allaha fattabi'uni yuhbibkumullahu wa yaghfir lakum dhunubakum wallahu ghafurur rahim. Qul ati'u Allaha wa rasul fa in tawallaw fa la yuhibbul kafirin. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Sami Allahu liman hamida. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin.
Amin.
Qul huwallahu ahad. Allahu samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Sami Allahu liman hamida. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Subhanallah.
Subhanallah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna rasulullah. Al-Fatiha Yusef. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi alaihim waladdallin. Amen. To couple of me, Allah said,
Assalamu alaikum. So before you all make your sunnahs, first and foremost, let us thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for Imam Yusef from the 5th Ward Islamic Center, blessing us with such an enlightening, heartfelt khutbah. We thank Allah for his presence and his speech today. It was very inspiring. We'd also like to thank those of you who are watching on our live stream, those of you who continue to support Masjid New Africa Center for Human Development. We can't say enough how much that we appreciate those of you who have continued to support us and what we do for the community at large. So we thank you. We want to ask for those of you who are are in a position to donate. Know that we are a 501c3 organization, tax exempt organization, and our survival is critical and it's based upon the donations that we receive. So by the mercy of Allah, we're going on 3 years now, and Allah has been sustaining us thus far just by the good hearts of the people in the community. So we ask that you continue to give at your heart's content. We have a PayPal account, PayPal Masjid New Africa. We also have a CASHAPP account, and we also take checks. So you can mail a check to us at 7610 Highway 6, Hitchcock, Texas, 77563. We want to also inform you of our Talim service on Sunday, 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Last week we had a wonderful guest, Sister Naima Mustafa. She did an excellent job. And if you ever want to go back and see any of our programs, they're on live stream, they're recorded on our Facebook page. And you can go back and look on our YouTube channel. We ask that you go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, hit the subscribe button, become a subscriber, and you'll see all of the things that we do here that we live stream, inshallah. So with that, and as I conclude, I also want to encourage you to have a safe weekend in regard to my family. We lost the matriarch of our family, my grandmother, who passed away from an unexpected heart attack on Valentine's Day. So it's been a very challenging week for myself and my family. We ask that you just continue to make dua for us as we prepare to give my grandmama the best homecoming at 83 years old she deserved, and she was a great inspiration to not just me, but many people that I'm learning about. You know, she has touched so many lives, so please include her in your du'as, inshallah, as we will do you as well. With that, we leave you as we came with the greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.